Hello, Galaxy owners. This is Jan Willem van Burgen, your General Manager, with yet another update of what is happening at the Galaxy, your home. Today I would like to talk a little bit about the laundry facilities. You do know that your Board of Directors and Management have been working diligently on the contract negotiations, the review of it, countless meetings, and we are finally ready to finalize this whole issue. So once done, as I have mentioned to you in a variety of board meetings, we will then notify you when the change will take place. Thank you. On February 19th, during the board meeting, open session, I informed you that Mr. Annie Malonzo had given his notice. He is now gone, and in his place we have Danny Rivera, who comes to us through Cooper Square Realty. Prior to his arrival, the position of Facilities and Construction Manager was a GTCA position. 3 weeks ago, the board approved that this position shall be and will be a Cooper Square Realty position. So, welcome to the Galaxy.
Thank you.
Danny, how are you? Can you tell your audience, our audience, a little bit about yourself? Where do you come from?
Well, I come from a very diverse background in construction, building management, and also hotels. I started my tenure in this business back in the early, actually late 70s, early 80s in residentials. And then from residentials I went to hotels. I was chief engineer of the International Hotel at JFK. I went to work for the actually the Holiday Inn Corporation, and I opened up Crown Plaza in Stamford, Connecticut, and went on to open up the White Plains Crown Plaza in White Plains. Then from there I went back into the city, and I worked in a few hotels in the city, and then I went back into residential because the pay was better.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So and I've opened up 480 unit buildings, brand new from construction. I've set up all the positions in place and all the mechanics in the buildings. I mean, from AC all the way down to the vacuums for the housekeeping department. So I'm very diverse in all aspects of management when it comes to a facility. You can say from soup to nuts.
When Danny arrived here, I gave him a couple of items to take care of. And Danny, can you talk
a couple,
quite a few indeed.
Quite a few.
But talk a little bit about it, what you have been doing, because you jumped right in.
Well, yes, I jumped right into the, so to speak, the frying pan. I've handled some concerns that we had. We had some issues that were very open for numerous months pertaining to fire safety and elevators. And also some concerns that we had and issues that were open with some of our residents that were waiting for a very long time to get some problems resolved.
Yes.
And I'm happy to report now that out of the list you gave me, which is endless, but out of the first 10 priority items that you've given me, 9 have been taken care of.
Can you mention a few?
Well, we've had meetings with Fujitec to resolve and get the issues at hand resolved and to get them going.
Can you be specific with the elevator issues?
Yes.
That's what you're talking about?
Yes, we had some, there were some issues here with the elevator mechanic, what his duties were, where he's responding, what the priorities were, and how Fujitec was handling our priorities. So we put that all on the table, and we've completed a program with Fujitec in order to set forth, the action plan of action that we have. We've also put back in service an elevator that was out for a while, that was taken out of service by the state inspector, the state elevator inspector. So we put that back in service after we initiated our conversation with the Fujitec mechanic and so forth, so on. We've also handled an issue that was festering in Tower 3, which was the lobby with the wind tunnel scenario. when my arrival, the first thing I was encountered with was the lobby that was opened up and it wasn't closed and properly insulated, so we wouldn't have that reoccurring again.
This was part of the sprinkler.
The sprinkler, right, you had a sprinkler that broke, and so that's taken care of. And by the way, the doormen are very happy because it's nice and warm there for them now.
Yes.
So the second issue was that we had a leak on the 17th floor compactor room that was ongoing for many days, and I instructed the staff on how to resolve it quickly, and which we did. It was done in, I wasn't even here 24 hours, and it was done and resolved, and it was over with. It was repaired, and they started rebuilding the area that we had to take apart to get to that leak. So there's been a lot of issues that we've handled. I mean, I can go on and on and on.
Well,
but,
I have a couple of questions, so I think that our
Sure.
owners who are watching would nothing more than love to hear from you, that things are getting done. Talk about your staff, the maintenance staff. You have shown to me that you have shifted the shifts of certain staff members.
I haven't shifted yet. What I'm doing
Yes.
is I'm going to restructure the scheduling so we have coverage, more coverage on the evenings, the 3 to 11, and so we can have coverage also from 11 to 6 in the morning. So that way there's a member of staff on all times
Yes.
that would, respond to an emergency, a boiler down, a hot water problem, or anything. Because our first concern is to make sure that the residents are taken care of, that their needs are taken care of.
Danny, can you talk to our owners a little bit about the treatment of our septic plant?
Absolutely.
What have you been doing, and what will be the result of all of that?
Well, again, upon my arrival, and one of the issues that you gave me to handle immediately were that one of our residents was experiencing part of our sewage system going through their apartment, or coming out into their apartment.
Right.
And so the first thing I asked Rodney was, why is this happening? Take me and show me from point A to point B. And he did. He took me from the apartment, and we followed the line all the way down to when we got to our sewage pit. And then I noticed that, it's basically like a septic system. So I said, do we treat this with any type of enzymes so it would solidify and break down all the waste materials? Because it also would be a benefit for the pumps.
Yes.
Because the pumps would work a little bit easier instead of pushing
And you have
hard
less
waste.
of a backup, right?
You would minimize any
that,
type
yes.
of backup because you're treating the waste to make it more liquefied. So he said no. So immediately I got our purchasing agent. I put him in contact with a vendor that has this enzyme.
Right.
It's a biodegradable enzyme, and actually we just had it delivered maybe a day or so ago. So now we're going to train staff on how to proceed with treating our treatment pit, so to speak.
Yes. So we just had an interruption because the phone rang. We had an emergency to attend to. So now we're back on the air, and I would like to stick one moment longer to the issue of the septic tank and what you have done, Danny. So what will this do in the future with these enzymes? You already have said it will liquefy and it will stream better and we have less of backups.
That's correct. It's like a preventive measure, a
Right.
preventive maintenance measure where you don't want it to back up again and go into residents' apartments and have another scenario like we just experienced. So this would help it to flow more freely, and the ejector pumps that inject it out of that pit up into the sewer system work better.
So in other words, we also have energy savings.
Yes,
Correct?
because the pumps won't be working as hard.
Right.
So they'll be working at what they're supposed to be working at, a smooth flow.
Yes.
And that creates amperage